Let's go into topic number one. Kind of a big news this week. The Prime 1 Batman Hush Superman went up for pre-order finally, and it's waitlisted already. Are you guys surprised, or you figured that would probably happen? What do you guys think about all of the Superman chatter this week?
Well, I'm one of the people who, I waited like 2 days, and I was like, hey, let me think on it. But then I woke up, what was it? Saturday morning, I called Dan when I saw it. I was like, this thing's already low stock. And so I jumped on Prime 1 and pre-ordered it, But he was like, me and Dan were going back and forth. We were like, really? It's already low stock? And I'm like, yeah, I think the price point's good, and adding that extra head that the 1/3 doesn't have. Mm-hmm. I think they really knocked it out the park with it, put it that way.
What about the rest of you? Are you surprised it waitlisted so quickly?
They kept the quantity so low.
Me too. Do you think they're kicking themselves in the foot right now?
I think they sold themselves short by probably 25%. I think they should have done, 1,000 and 2,000 or something. I mean, even if they only sold 2,000 to start, those things would sell for a couple of years to come.
I agree.
They would have sold.
Has it officially waitlisted? I think Jeff, you said right. It waitlisted once and then it came back up for order or something.
No, from a different vendor.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So it waitlisted at Prime 1.
Yep.
And then it waitlisted at Sideshow. I'm talking about the bonus.
The bonus version. Yeah, the bonus version.
Yeah. And it waitlisted at Big Bad Toy Store.
Yeah.
And then Secret Compass had it this morning. I'm not sure if they've waitlisted or not.
The bonus version is, I think, what got a lot of people excited was because they did another head sculpt.
Yeah.
And did you guys like the head sculpt? Did you feel like it looked more like Jim Lee? Like I felt like the original still looked very Jim Lee to me, but did you feel like the newer updated portrait looked better?
I think the new one looks better.
Yep.
I do too.
Good. Well,
I like the new one, and I like the looking down one.
Yeah, that's the one I like too. I do like the angry one just because I liked the villain aspect of it with Poison Ivy and the vines. But I think that was probably my favorite one too. Is just the looking down. It just looks more stoic, which is awesome. But let me know in the chat if anybody else ordered the Superman. I'd like to get kind of an idea. Just we have almost 130 people watching right now. I would love to see how many of you ordered. Just say ordered in the chat if you did, and if you were able to get the bonus one. There were some people, obviously, that why I said that shenanigans or legit. One of the viewers of the channel asked this question about the fact that basically they shrunk a 3rd scale statue and are reselling it. And some people take offense to that. They're like, well, we had this limited edition Superman and now you're going to make these 1/4 scale ones. Me personally, I think that they changed enough of it. They changed the base, They changed the cape, they changed the portrait, or at least offered a new portrait. Do you guys feel like collectors are getting gypped if they change it a little bit, or do you feel like I don't know? I've never really cared, I guess. What do you guys think?
I think I wasn't around in the statue game when the 1/3 came out, but same thing with the Poison Ivy. I got the newer Poison Ivy from Prime 1, and there was debate, with respect. Hey, this is the same thing. You can't do that. I think they changed a lot on this one to where it's not the exact. I mean, if somebody offered me the 1/3 model at a fair price, I would get the 1/3 model. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. I wasn't around at that time.
How about the rest of you guys?
I think it's still strange, but I guess I don't own the statue, so I mean I can't say like whether I'm upset that they re-released it, but I do think it's kind of odd that they did that. But at least, like you said, they made changes. But as far as it being, I don't get the whole thing. I think it's a little bit too hyped up, that statue, and sorry to say that, but I don't know. To me, Superman Hush, he was like a villain in that story. He was a bad guy. To me, that doesn't really represent the true Superman. So, I mean, it's a great looking statue, but it wouldn't be like the real representation of like Superman in my collection if I had a Superman statue.
So you have the Hush Poison Ivy back behind you.
Yeah.
Let's say a couple weeks from now, they announce that they're going to do a 1/4 scale version of that exact statue in green and flesh color. Would that bother you, or would you be like, I don't care?
I guess not at this point. I don't know. I know we went through this with the Sanity, and I was like, yeah, it's kind of messed up that they were going to make a quarter scale Sanity, and then they never did. But I don't know. At this point, maybe I'm just because I've been collecting so long, I don't really care anymore. But I don't know.
We're the old crotchety collectors at this point. We're just like, I could care less.
I try not to get too angry these days. I don't know. Yeah, I guess I don't care anymore. I don't know.
What do you think about that, JWR? Because you're a new-isher, collector compared to some of us that have been collecting for a long time. What do you think about that?
I think it's cool. I think it gives people that can't afford the 1/3 statue, especially the first time around or a resale market, a chance to get a great statue that Prime One made, and they changed the base and everything enough. I can understand people being upset about the new portrait, not being able to get it for the 1/3 because it is so good looking. So that I could understand people being mad about. But them redoing the statue, they changed enough where I don't think it's the exact same. So I think it's a kind of a new twist on an old classic.
I really think that would really throw a bone to collectors that could be upset about it by selling that portrait. I mean, they're not just going to give it away, but if they could make that new portrait for the 3rd scale, that would be pretty awesome. I think. I don't think that's going to happen, but I do think it would be goodwill toward other collectors. What do you think, Jeff?
I ordered it.
Oh, nice, very nice. Yes.
It was funny because I was up, when it goes live like 11 p.m. my time on Prime One site. And as soon as I saw that it was edition size of 750 and that the shipping was not terrible, the shipping was $126.
It's not bad.
I thought, what the hell? So I went ahead and pre-ordered it. I agree with JWR. The only thing that would bother me if I was a 1/3 collector and owned that piece would be the head sculpt issue. That would really piss me off, I think, to be honest. But no, to me, it was kind of hard to resist. Like I said, I've never been really fond of the portraits on that statue, except that looking down one. So adding the new portrait did help my decision. But it makes me wonder, what can of worms have they opened?
Yeah.
I mean, it was so successful. Are they going to now release the quarter scale black costume? And then when they do the quarter scale Batman Batcave, are they going to do the black version of that? Are we going to get a quarter scale Poison Ivy? So it might have really opened a can of worms for collectors.
Well, clearly this has done very well for them. The fact that they waitlisted so quickly, I don't know how many they're going to make of the regular, but we knew this was going to be a big moneymaker for them. It's a very popular statue. Is it just a money grab, though? Do you guys, like Chris and Logan says, is it a money grab?
They're a business.
I was going to say, yes, absolutely, it's a money grab. I mean, why?
Money.
You sculpted something that is awesome. People loved it. Of course, they're going to try to do as much as they can, especially right now where DC sales are absolutely in the crapper. It's like they're going to print money here. So yes, it is a money grab, and I don't think they should be blamed for that.
No.
I feel like, again, with this particular statue, I do feel like they changed enough of it. If it was an exact print, I still don't know if I would care. Just because I'm like, I like to collect 1/3. This person over here likes to collect 1/4. Let them have a chance to have something awesome too. So I don't necessarily see the problem with that. I actually was really quite shocked that they did add that extra portrait, which I don't feel like they really needed to do to sell it.
Yeah. I'm really curious what they're going to do with the Batcave thing, because that 1/3 scale Batcave, you can get that for $9.99.
Yes.
So what do you do if you're Prime One? I mean, are they going to add something really special to that one?
Yeah.
I'm really curious what they're going to do.
What do you think? Oh, you know what they could do? Or I wonder if they would offer the wrapped, that Hush wrapped portrait.
Yeah, I posted that today in my group.
Oh, did you?
I asked, do you think they're going to offer this as the bonus, or is it going to be something brand new we haven't seen before?
Yeah.
I wonder what they could do.
Well,
I'm buying the 1/4 Batman when it comes out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Chris, how do you feel about the 1/4 Batman coming out where you have the 1/3? Same with you, Dan.
It doesn't bother me a bit.
Awesome.
Doesn't bother me at all.
Awesome. Yeah.
If I'm being honest, it just doesn't. To me, it's a completely different product. right? Yes, it's the same design, but the application is just completely different. This 1/3, for those of you if you haven't seen it in person, see it in person. It's massive, right?
Yep.
It is a massive centerpiece statue, whereas the quarter scale, I gotta believe, is something completely different, right? Where you could put other pieces, or it doesn't necessarily need to be that centerpiece like Hush does.
And the third scale, of course, has that big computer screen.
Yep.
I mean, it's a much larger base. This is going to be a much more condensed base.
Yep.
So it's going to be a lot more collector friendly. And again, like, not everybody is a third scale collector. So just because I like third scale doesn't mean I'm like, oh, I want all of those quarter scale collectors to suffer and never have a chance to own this.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm like, I don't care. It's like, congratulations to anybody that picks up art that they love. And that's something we've been talking about forever on this channel. It's like, let people buy what they want to buy. And I don't feel like it's I don't feel like it's a slap in the face necessarily. I could see why maybe some collectors would feel that way, but I feel like they're the collectors that are probably flipping things. They're trying to recoup their money, but no one's recouping their money right now anyway.
That's exactly the issue. So back in the day, it would be like, it would feel like they were flooding the market. Now, if you try to sell yours, it might, hurt your sale. But these days, nothing is pretty much selling, so it doesn't even matter.
I mean, you're going to take a hit on if you're reselling the comics or if you're reselling statues and artwork. You're going to take a hit these days in this economy.
100%.
It doesn't matter. And with respect, I think you get the head pieces with it for the additional for $9.99. I mean, and you get an additional. I mean, I think they nailed it with the price point. I think with the economy, they nailed it with the price point.
Fatal the Collector's in the house. Congratulations to him on his brand new life-size Margot Robbie Harley Quinn. That was awesome to watch you unbox that. But he says, simple fix, release both scales simultaneously. And back then when Prime 1 was doing that, though, that wasn't really a thing. And they didn't have the quarter scale license either. And so that also is an issue. They were able to do some quarter scale pieces in conjunction with Sideshow, which is why that relationship was really good for quite a while. But they simply weren't able to do quarter scale. And I don't know what has changed, but obviously they're able to do it now. Whereas, even like somebody like Tweeterhead, if Tweeterhead wants to do quarter scale, they have to go through Sideshow to do so. And so that, I think that is why it wasn't done back in the day. And now the fact that they can do that, Sideshow's doing it, Tweeterhead's doing it, other companies are doing it. And so I think if you roll the clock back and we could change time, I think, Prime 1 would have done it at the time. And they probably would have sold a whole lot more quarter scales than they ever did the third scales, would be my guess. Just because people still love quarter scale, it's much more manageable. So
the funny thing about that quarter scale Superman is that it's basically the dimensions of a 1/3 scale piece. It's 30 inches tall and 20 inches wide.
Yep.
And it was an oversized piece to begin with. I mean, it is an oversized, it's just a massive, if you've ever seen the third scale in person, it is just, a massive piece. And the base alone was crazy.
And if you already own the 1/3, they pretty much just sealed it in for you. That, I mean, not that it was ever selling for a low price, but I mean, the fact that they're both the same price now, you should be able to get a lot more for the 1/3, which it already does sell for a lot more. But anyway,
yeah. Nomar asks, how do you guys feel about the 1/4 statue being the same price as the 1/3? I personally wasn't shocked at all by the price point. I figured it could even go a little higher. Because of the demand of that. What do you guys think? Do you guys feel, are you offended by the fact that a quarter scale is not the same price as a third?
I think the 1/3, it sells sometimes between 2,000 to 3,000, something like that, some crazy number. So,
and also I thought price wise, I thought it was going to be about $1,200. I said it's going to be about $1,200. So they surprised me on the price.
Yeah. Again, I'm not too shocked that it's doing well. I'm not too shocked that some of the community members get upset. But I think at the end of the day, I think it's very legit for Prime 1 to ask it. I think that they're very smart that they're bringing these products back out. I can see Batman. What other ones could you see them doing? Like the viewer was like, oh, hold on just a second. I've got to say hello, Mr. Daniel Bell in the house. Hello to Daniel Bell. Nice to see you, my friend. Congratulations. on everything. Just saw that they're adding that light up feature to his statue with Martin Canale, the Batman versus Joker diorama. So that looks really great with that poison gas. So much success to you, my friend. Thank you for joining us tonight. Really appreciate it. But anyway, the person was asking about like what other statues could you see them doing in quarter scale, especially like they were specifically talking about the DC line. What other ones could you guys see that they might take that chance on? What do you guys think?
I could see the Deathstroke one, the OG Deathstroke one that I've got and you've got, Chris.
Yes.
Because that sold well and that's still highly sought after. So I can see them doing a 1/3 of that, and then, I mean, 1/4 of that. But then also, if this Delado throne piece sells good, I can see them doing a 1/4 for the people who don't have the room.
Are you talking about the tactical throne?
That
Yes.
is 1/4.
Yeah, that's already 1/4.
Oh, that's 1/4. Yeah, I mean it's going to be massive.
I wish it was third, although I'd need a whole
Yeah.
other room probably for that thing.
Yeah. But to me, the one that sticks out would be then the Bane, the Finch Bane, and then the Deathstroke.
Yeah.
I can see them doing 1/4.
Yeah, I think that Bane, that's a good one.
God, the Bane would be crazy awesome. And some people are saying Tech 1000. I could see that one
Yep.
being very, very popular.
Yeah.
Yep. I think with respect, I think those, and then maybe even the Fabok massive piece that Chris and I have. I could see him probably doing that one in 1/4.
Chris, I watched your video on the is it PCS Dark Side Collectibles Penguin
Yes.
this morning, and very much a related topic. I noticed you mentioned that they're releasing that in both 1/3 and 1/4. Am I thinking about this correctly? I don't think Prime One does that ever, do they? Do they ever announce both scales?
I've never seen them do that. They may have done that for something, but I'm just not familiar with anything
No,
that they
never
did.
done that.
I wonder what the implications of that are to the manufacturing process, right? You think if they can achieve the same level of profitability on both scales, why not announce them both and capture a bigger audience, right?
Right. Well, you would think like the factory painting could be painting them at the same time also.
I'm sure. Yep.
So basically what Prime One had to do is pay a factory and arrange all of that, create a prototype, pay the factory to paint it and box it up and all that stuff. And then years later, they're going to have to do it again.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I would think if they had the same painters painting the exact same thing, whether they're different scales, because they're going to have the same paint,
Yeah, exactly.
application. I mean, there might be slight differences, obviously, with the base, or maybe the cape is painted a little differently or whatever. But I would think just financially that would make a lot of sense. I think that sometimes companies worry that they're not going to sell enough of something.
Yeah.
Maybe like if they say, well, we're going to offer 1/4 and 1/3. Well, we only sold 50 1/3, but we sold X amount of, 1/4.
Right.
So I could see where maybe some companies get a little bit worried. Like let's say Tweeterhead's doing a quarter scale. I think a quarter scale is probably going to sell way better than a fifth scale that they're going to be, or a sixth scale that they're going to be doing,
Mhm.
And so I could see where, Chad would obviously want the fifth scale stuff to do better. But if they announce them both at the same time, collectors will be like, well, screw the 1/5. I just want the quarter scale because that's what I collect. So I could see it maybe going back and forth with the way the company views it. But at the end of the day, you know exactly where you stand too.
Yeah. True.
So that's a very good point. It is interesting to see how different companies do things.
Yep.
The dark side, I think that they've been struggling a little bit with their rollout, obviously, of this Catwoman, and so I think people are really leery about what they're going to do. But I still think it's smart that they're doing it in two scales. I think I would love to see Prime One do that.
Yep.
But I don't like right now, I don't feel like they're not going to roll out very many third scales because they don't have a confidence in it.
Right.
Really the only one that's been teased at all is that Riddler. Right?
Yeah.
For DC wise. So obviously they don't have a lot of confidence. I don't see them offering Riddler in quarter scale and third scale. I don't know. but it is interesting. Anything else you guys want to say about that topic?
As a one collector, the one I would like them to do is the Joker Say Cheese. I think that would be that would be a cash grab for all the collectors. They would grab that so quick.
I'm amazed by how many people still see it for the first time and they're like, holy crap, what was I missing out on here? Like, and I think we all had that reaction initially when it first was shown. We're like, I don't know if I love it. But when you see it in person, it's just absolutely incredible. It's one of my favorites in my collection. I can't imagine it ever leaving my collection.
Yep. Same.
And, I think it would do very well in quarter scale, especially because I consider that a Hush statue. I use the Jim Lee portrait. That's the way I have it displayed. I have the Bang flag. And so I think sitting next to that Batcave, which is the way I have it in third scale, I think a lot of people would love it. Now, it is tall. It's a very tall piece, so it might not be what everybody wants, but I don't know if there's a better Joker out there. So I can see Prime One doing that, and I think they would be smart to do it.
Brad thinks I'm frozen.
It's like this the whole show.
Brad, I've learned that if I stand perfectly still, I'm invisible.
That's right. He is. I can't even see. And you're wearing that kind of is it a gray or green shirt?
No, you can't see my shirt. I'm completely invisible.
Yeah, I can't even see you.
Breaking out the Guardians of the Galaxy quote. Oh boy.
I love it. Oh, look at this question. This is NYC Collector says, what if a company asked if we want 1/3 or 1/4 and the higher response wins? Well, you're going to piss off somebody no matter what you do.
Yeah.
I think 1/4 would win. I mean, 1/4, isn't it throughout time been the most popular scale?
100%. And that would piss off third scale collectors. Like, well, I really wanted that statue too.
Well, you mentioned in the chat, we were asking if Prime One had ever offered 2 scales, and they did. They did it with Constantine, but that didn't work out. They pulled back the 1/3.
But that was their own fault because they didn't include the best part of the statue.
Well, and it just depends whether you believe their excuse for that or not, I guess.
And I know why they didn't, but I mean, obviously the price, it might have priced people out and they wouldn't have sold very many. But wouldn't you rather sell like 50 than 0?
Yep.
I don't know if I would trust polls anyway. Anytime there's a poll on Facebook, half the people that leave a comment or mark that poll little option don't even plan on buying it to begin with.
Yeah, you're right. But like Fatal says, they should have included the wing. I really think so too. I think that would have made a big difference in sales because I mean Delaney has it. It's a fantastic statue. It is just brilliant. And so there it is right there. I love it. And I think it would have made one heck of a good third scale statue. I mean, it's not something I was going to buy, but I know a lot of people were interested. So
Hey guys, thank you so very much for watching today. And if you're new here, please hit the subscribe button right here on the screen and check out these 2 awesome videos. I think you're going to love them. And also please join us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I would love to have you join in all the fun. Thank you guys so very much for watching. See you in the Batcave.